Why do most people fail in life? It's not because they lack talent, it's because they waste time. They spend decades waiting, complaining, and hoping for luck. And then life is gone. Today, I'm going to show you how just 3 hours can rewrite the next 30 years of your life. 3 hours, that's it. Let's do this. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants a great body, money, freedom, respect. But most people think it takes a lifetime to start. No, it takes hours. Just 3 hours. 3 hours that will make you stronger, smarter, and unstoppable. If you're ready to build the future you want, pay attention. Because this is the blueprint. Most people waste decades. Most people go through life with big dreams in their heads, but tiny actions in their days. They imagine success. They talk about success. They post quotes about success. But when it comes time to do the work, they freeze. They hesitate. They make excuses. They convince themselves that tomorrow will be the day they finally start, but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and before they know it, years have slipped through their fingers like sand. This is the trap almost everyone falls into, the belief that there's time. People think, I'm young, I'll start when I'm ready, but there is no ready. There is no perfect moment. Life doesn't wait for you to feel comfortable, and because people wait, they waste decades of their lives doing absolutely nothing that matters. They go to jobs they hate. They scroll on their phones for hours. They binge shows. They gossip. They complain about everything and change nothing. They wait for motivation, as if motivation is some kind of lightning strike that will suddenly hit them and turn them into a machine. It doesn't work like that. Motivation comes after action, not before it. But because people don't know that, they sit there waiting and waiting until the years are gone. You know what happens when people live like that? They start lying to themselves. They tell themselves that other people had it easier, that those who succeeded were just lucky or born talented or had connections. They never want to admit the truth because the truth hurts. The truth is that they wasted their own life. The truth is that they had time and they threw it away. You see, most people are not failing because they don't have potential. They are failing because they don't have urgency. They think they have time. And that lie destroys more dreams than any obstacle in the world. If you talk to people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, you hear the same thing over and over again. I wish I started earlier. I wish I didn't waste so much time. They regret it because they know the truth now. They know that all the excuses they made, I don't have time, I'm tired, I'll do it tomorrow, were lies. They were lying to themselves to stay comfortable, to avoid the pain of growth. And the price they pay for that comfort is their life. You can make more money, you can buy new things, but you can't buy back time. Time is the one thing you will never get back, and it's the one thing most people throw away without thinking. Think about this. You have 24 hours in a day. Out of those 24 hours, people will spend 4 or 5 hours every single day on social media, watching TV, doing things that give them nothing back. Do you know what that adds up to over a lifetime? Years of sitting there, wasting life while their dreams die in their heads. And the saddest part is that they know it. Deep down, they know they're wasting time. They could be doing more, but they don't, because doing more is hard, and people hate hard things. They hate discomfort, so they stay stuck, and that is why most people will never have what they want. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. Everyone knows they should exercise. Everyone knows they should learn new skills. Everyone knows they should work on their future. But knowing and doing are not the same thing. The problem is that they never take that first step. They keep thinking, I'll start when I feel like it. But you will never feel like it if you wait for the perfect moment. You will waste your whole life waiting. And that's exactly what happens to most people. When you look around, you see it everywhere. People living on autopilot, people settling for jobs they hate, relationships they don't like, lives that don't inspire them. And the worst part, they think it's normal. They think, well, this is just how life is. No, it's not. Life doesn't have to be like that, but it will be like that if you keep doing what most people do, nothing. They keep talking about what they're going to do one day. They say, one day I'll start my business. One day I'll get in shape. One day I'll write that book. But one day never comes. And by the time they realize that, it's too late. People waste decades because they underestimate the cost of doing nothing. They think, I'm just relaxing for a while, but a while turns into a lifetime. The clock is always ticking, whether you do something or not. Every second you waste, you never get back. Every day you waste, gone forever. And yet, people treat time like it's unlimited. They treat it like there will always be more. There won't. There is a finish line for all of us, and the worst thing you can do is cross that line full of regret, knowing you could have done more but didn't. Most people waste decades because they don't understand one simple truth. You don't have time. You think you do, but you don't. Every day that passes is one less day. You have to make your dreams real. Every day you waste is a day you could have been stronger, smarter, richer, happier. And yet, people throw away days like they mean nothing. They throw away years like they'll live forever, but they won't. And when they finally realize that, it's already too late. Kino tunai. Success doesn't take decades to start. People have been sold a lie. They have been told that success takes decades just to begin. They have been told that you need to wait for the perfect opportunity, that you need years of preparation before you can take the first real step. This lie has destroyed more potential than failure ever did, because it convinces people to stand still. It convinces them to believe that today is not the day to start. It convinces them that they should plan, prepare, think, and dream for years before taking any action. And while they are waiting, life is moving. Time is passing. Their chance is slipping away. The truth is the opposite of what most people believe. Success doesn't take decades to start. Success begins in an instant. It begins in a single decision. It begins the moment you say, no more waiting, no more excuses. I start now. That moment is the real beginning of success, and yet most people push that moment further and further away because they are afraid. They are afraid to fail. They are afraid to look stupid. They are afraid to be uncomfortable. So they hide behind the idea that they are not ready yet. But here's the truth: you will never feel ready. If you are waiting to feel ready, you will wait forever, because readiness is not a feeling, it is a choice. The problem with believing success takes decades is that it kills urgency. When you think you have decades before you need to act, you waste time. You take it easy. You tell yourself you can start tomorrow because you have plenty of time, but every day you wait is a day you lose. Every day you waste makes it harder to catch up. People say they want to change their life, but then they behave like they have unlimited time. They don't. Every single day that passes is gone forever. That is why waiting is the most dangerous thing you can do. People look at successful individuals and think they spent decades building before they got anywhere. They look at the finished product and assume it took forever to even get started. But what they don't see is that the start happened in a moment. The start was not decades. The start was a decision, a commitment, a choice. Those decades of results came after the first few hours of action. The empire began with a single brick. The transformation began with a single workout. The career began with one bold step forward. It didn't take decades to begin. It took a moment of courage, followed by action, repeated every day. When people say success takes decades, they are confusing starting with maintaining. Yes, building a legacy, becoming a master, dominating your field, that takes years. But getting started, that takes minutes. You can start reading today. You can start exercising today. You can start planning today. You can start building the habits today. And when you start today, you create momentum. Momentum is everything. Momentum is what turns one step into 10 steps, 10 steps into 100, and 100 into thousands. But you never get momentum if you never start. You stay stuck. You stay waiting. You stay dreaming instead of doing. There is a massive difference between people who succeed and people who fail. And it is not talent. It is not luck. It is not resources. It is speed. Successful people move fast. They decide and they act. They don't wait for the perfect time because they know it doesn't exist. They don't waste years preparing because they know the best preparation is action. They start now and figure things out along the way. They understand that starting is the hardest part. And once you start, the rest follows. But the people who fail, they wait, they plan, they analyze, and then they wake up 10 years later in the exact same place because they thought they had time. You don't need decades to start. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need every detail planned. What you need is to begin. You need to take that first step today. You need to put in the hours now because those hours are what separate dreamers from doers. People overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a decade. But none of that matters if they never start. They want to run a marathon, but they don't want to take the first step. They want the mansion, but they don't want to lay the first brick. And that is why so many people live and die without ever touching their true potential. When you look at your life, ask yourself this: how many times have you said someday? How many times have you promised yourself that you will start when the time is right? How many times have you waited because you thought you needed more money, more confidence, more experience, more everything? And where has that waiting gotten you? If you are honest, it has gotten you nowhere, because waiting does not create success. Action does. The people who win are the people who start before they are ready, because starting before you feel ready is the only way to actually get ready. You can't think your way to success. You can't wish your way to success. You can only act your way there. Keynote 3, the formula, 3 hours of power. When people think about changing their lives, they often imagine that it requires a complete overhaul of everything they do. They picture massive sacrifices, endless workdays, and a lifestyle so extreme that it feels impossible. That's why most people never start. They feel overwhelmed by the idea that success means giving up their entire life today for a payoff decades later. But the truth is, you don't need to dedicate 18 hours a day to start building a future that changes everything. You don't need to give up everything. You need 3 hours. That's it. 3 focused hours that you control and use with absolute intensity. 3 hours that can completely alter the trajectory of your next 30 years. Why 3 hours? Because in 3 hours, you can cover everything that truly matters for your growth and future. Not distractions, not busy work, but real progress. The reason most people fail isn't because they don't work hard. It's because they waste their energy on the wrong things. They confuse motion with progress. They stay busy but never move forward. 3 hours of power changes that, because these hours are built on focus and purpose. They are broken into 3 pillars that build the foundation of your life, your body, your mind, and your future. The first hour is for your body. People underestimate how much their physical state controls every other part of their life. When your body is weak, your energy is low, your confidence drops and your ability to execute disappears. You can't focus if you're exhausted. You can't build wealth if your health is collapsing. You can't create your best work if you feel tired all the time. The body is the engine, and if the engine fails, everything else stops. That's why 1 hour of exercise every single day is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if you lift weights, run, do calisthenics, or train in a sport. What matters is that you push your body and make it stronger. Strength is freedom because it gives you the energy and power to dominate your life. The second hour is for your mind. This is where most people fall behind because they think learning ends after school. They think they know enough. That's why they stay stuck. The world is changing every day. And if you are not learning, you are dying. 1 hour a day spent on building your mind will put you ahead of 99% of people because most people spend zero. Read books, listen to lectures, take courses, develop skills that make you valuable in the marketplace. Train your mind to think bigger, faster, and sharper. This is where you separate yourself because knowledge is leverage. The more you know, the more doors open. The more skills you master, the more control you have over your future. People complain that life is unfair, but life becomes unfair in your favor when you are smarter, better prepared, and more skilled than everyone else. That happens in the second hour. The third hour is for your future. This is the most powerful hour because this is where dreams turn into reality. Most people dream, most people talk, but very few execute. Execution is what makes the difference, and this is where you do it. The third hour is where you build something that moves your life forward. You write your plan. You create content. You start that business. You make those calls. You send those emails. You work on the thing that will create long-term success. 1 hour and every day focused only on building your future will make your life unrecognizable in a few years. But you have to protect this hour. No distractions, no excuses, no scrolling. This is the hour where you are not living in the present. You are creating the future. 3 hours. That's the formula. 1 for your body, 1 for your mind, 1 for your future. 3 hours that decide who you become in the next 30 years. The beauty of this formula is its simplicity. Anyone can do it. You don't need $1 million. You don't need a team. You don't need permission. You need 3 hours. And yet, most people will still say they don't have time. They will say they are too busy. But look at their life. They have time for Netflix. They have time for gossip. They have time for scrolling on social media. They have time for everything that doesn't matter. But they don't have 3 hours for what matters most. That's the truth about why most people stay where they are. The formula works because it attacks the 3 things that control your entire life. Your body gives you the strength to show up every day and fight. Your mind gives you the clarity and intelligence to make the right decisions. Your future work gives you the results that create freedom, success, and impact. Without one of these 3, you will always be limited. You can be smart, but weak, and you won't have the energy to win. You can be strong, but ignorant, and you will be outsmarted. You can have energy and intelligence, but never execute, and you will die with potential instead of achievement. That's why these 3 hours are sacred, because in those 3 hours, you create the foundation for everything else. Keynote 4, excuses are the real enemy. People think their biggest problem is lack of time, lack of money, lack of connections, or lack of opportunity. They believe that if they were born rich, if they had the right education, if they had the right people around them, everything would be different. That is the story they keep telling themselves, and that story is the reason they fail. The truth is, those things are not the enemy. The real enemy is the excuses they make every single day. Excuses are what kill dreams. Excuses are what keep people average. Excuses are what make people waste their entire life waiting for the perfect conditions that will never come. If you remove excuses, you remove limits. If you stop lying to yourself about why you can't do something, you will finally start doing it. The excuse that destroys the most lives is, I don't have time. Everyone says it. They say they're too busy to work on themselves, too busy to work on their goals, too busy to take control of their life. They say this while spending hours every single day doing things that give them nothing. They scroll on social media for 2 hours. They binge TV shows for another 2 hours. They waste time gossiping, complaining, and doing pointless things. Then they say they have no time. It's not that they don't have time. It's that they don't have priorities. They don't want it bad enough, because if something is truly important to you, you make time for it. You wake up earlier, you stay up later, you cut out distractions, you make sacrifices. People have 24 hours just like everyone else, but the difference is what they do with those hours. The successful person and the average person both have the same clock. The difference is that one spends it building and the other spends it wasting. Another excuse people love to use is, I'm too tired. They act like being tired is an unbreakable wall that stops them from moving forward. Everyone gets tired. The question is, what do you do when you're tired? Do you stop or do you push? The difference between winners and losers is not that winners never feel tired. It's that winners keep going anyway. They train when they're tired. They work when they're tired. They learn when they're tired, because they know that stopping every time you feel tired means you will never finish anything. People who give into that excuse will never experience what it feels like to truly achieve something. Because the truth is, success requires pushing past that voice in your head that says, I don't feel like it. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never win. Excuses like this sound reasonable in the moment, but in reality, they are chains holding you down. The next excuse that kills potential is, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is the biggest lie you tell yourself. Tomorrow is how dreams die, because tomorrow never comes. There is always another tomorrow. You keep pushing it forward, and before you know it, years have gone by and nothing has changed. People convince themselves that they are going to start when the timing is right. They say they need to wait until Monday, until the first of the month, until the new year, until they feel ready. But readiness is a myth. The perfect time does not exist. If you keep waiting for it, you will stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. The only time you have is now. But people don't want to hear that, because now is hard. Now is uncomfortable. Now requires effort. So they hide behind the excuse of tomorrow because it feels safe. They feel like they are doing something by planning to start, but planning is not action. Thinking is not doing. Tomorrow is a trap. Some people blame other people for their failures. They say, I can't succeed because of my family, my boss, my friends, my environment. They think they are trapped because of someone else. That excuse feels good because it removes responsibility. If it's someone else's fault, then you don't have to change. But blaming others does nothing to change your life. If you keep pointing fingers, you will stay stuck forever. Because as long as you give someone else the blame, you also give them the power. You are saying that they control your future. The truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to give you success. You either take control or you stay average. That's the reality. Every excuse you make feels like a reason. It feels true in the moment. It feels logical. But when you look at the truth, you see that excuses are just stories. Stories that you create to protect yourself from discomfort. Stories that you repeat so many times you start believing them. But those stories don't help you. They destroy you. Because while you are telling yourself why you can't do something, somebody else out there is doing it with fewer resources, with less experience, with more obstacles than you, and that person will win because they refuse to make excuses. Keynote 5: this is life or death for your dreams. Most people treat their dreams like they are optional, like they are some luxury that they can work on if they have extra time, energy, or motivation. They talk about their dreams as if they will always be there, waiting for them to get serious. They tell themselves that one day they will go after what they really want, but until then, they will just live the way they are living. This is the biggest mistake anyone can make, because your dreams are not guaranteed to wait for you. Every day you delay, every day you waste, those dreams move further and further away. They start to fade. They lose their power. And eventually they die. When your dreams die, a piece of you dies with them. That's why this is not just about productivity or time management. This is life or death for your dreams. If you don't act now, if you don't take this seriously, you will kill the very thing that makes life worth living. Your dream is not just a goal on a list. It is your purpose. It is the reason you wake up with energy. It is the thing that gives meaning to all the hard work and pain you go through. Without a dream, life becomes empty. It becomes routine. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you eat, you sleep, and you repeat. That is what most people call living, but it's not living, it's existing. And existing is not what you were made for. You were made to create, to build, to achieve, to grow. You were made to do something that matters. When you let your dreams die, you let yourself die. And the worst part is that it doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, over years, as you keep saying, not today. You keep choosing comfort instead of progress, and every time you do, you kill your dream a little more. The tragedy is that people think they have time. They think they can put their dreams on hold for years and then come back to them when life is easier, when the kids are grown, when the bills are paid, when the stress is gone. But life never gets easier. Life never slows down. There will always be bills. There will always be stress. There will always be something in the way. Waiting for the perfect time is the fastest way to make sure that time never comes. There is no perfect time. There is only now. And if you waste now, you are wasting the only chance you have to keep your dreams alive. When I say this is life or death for your dreams, I mean that literally. Because if you don't protect your dreams, the world will kill them. The world will push you toward mediocrity. It will tempt you with comfort. It will tell you to settle, to be realistic, to stop wanting so much. People around you will tell you that you should be happy with what you have, that going after more is too risky, too hard, too unrealistic. They will convince you to shrink your vision so they feel better about not chasing theirs. And if you listen to them, if you buy into that mindset, your dreams won't survive. They will be buried under excuses, under fear, under other people's opinions. And you will wake up one day wondering why you feel so empty, why you feel like something inside you is missing. It's missing because you let it die. The painful truth is that most people never live their dreams. They don't fail because they tried and couldn't do it. They fail because they never tried. They never gave themselves a real chance. They never treated their dream like it mattered. They treated it like a hobby, like something they could play with when life allowed it. But life will never allow it unless you fight for it. Your dream is like a fire. If you don't feed it, it goes out. If you don't protect it, the wind of life will blow it out. And once it's gone,